The thumbnail of this video will change every 15 minutes, and you can decide what it will be. But to get there, I had to learn how to control Game Boy games via code and how to scrape data from YouTube. And now I will go over exactly how I did it and how you can play the game today. You've seen Twitch plays Pokémon, you've seen Fish plays Pokémon, even AI is trying to play Pokémon. But today I'm asking the question, can my YouTube viewers also beat Pokémon Red, played entirely inside of a thumbnail? That's right, from today on you get the chance to be part of the first time where a full game of Pokémon is played inside of a YouTube thumbnail. I wrote a ton of code to regularly scrape all comments under this video, convert them into commands and feed them to an emulator. This is PyBoy. It's a small Game Boy emulator which allows you to interact with games via Python code. You can load your ethically sourced ROMs and do, well, basically whatever you want with them. You can execute button presses, jump to certain frames, capture the screen and even interact with the live memory. In my case, I want my viewers to be able to control the game inputs, so here's how it works. You can comment any of the Game Boy buttons under this video. In the background, this program here runs tirelessly and stores all the comments in a local database. I then filter out all the button presses from the comments, which I will call actions from now on. Each action is passed to an instance of PyBoy running in the background in chronological order, so whoever comments first executes their action first. Every 15 minutes the thumbnail is automatically updated to the current game screenshot. I also added some extra data like the current party and badges, but everything else you guys have to keep track of yourself in the comments. Speaking of comments, here's how I extract the actions. All comments will be checked if they are a real comment or containing any commands. To make it a little more interesting, I also allow multiple actions in the same comment. So if you comment A, that will be executed. But if you comment up AB, all of them will be executed in sequence. I'm only considering comments though that just have button presses in them. So if you comment something like my sequence is AB up, it will be ignored. They are of course case insensitive, and you can also write U, D, L and R for the direction keys. So all of these comments produce the same action sequences. But Julius, how do I keep up with the progress? Well, you don't. YouTube isn't really suited for this kind of project, as it very rarely recommends videos again that you already watched. This is going to be a community effort and it might take a long time until the game is beaten. Or it totally flops and we get stuck in the starting city forever. But maybe, every time you come across some content of mine, you can take a few seconds to progress the game a little bit more. And of course I'm logging every person who participates for a big Hall of Fame when we are done. So, how is this different from Twitch Plays Pokémon? I'm well aware that many have attempted to replicate the success of Twitch Plays Pokémon, though with mixed results. I still feel like this is an interesting project, as it is quite distinct from the typical interactive livestream. You have much more control over what happens as an individual because you get to execute entire button sequences. So every single viewer has the chance to make a big impact on the game, be it positive or negative. As this is Generation 1, you could for example attempt to catch Missing No, duplicate items or release all Pokémons in the party. If I catch you doing that though, you will go to the Hall of Shame for all eternity. I will only intervene manually if you softlock the game or choose a naughty nickname or so, as I don't want the channel to be banned. And if you want to know some more technical details, keep watching, because this was an interesting project from an engineering perspective too. But before we move on, I wanted to thank you guys for getting my last video to be the number 6 most hyped in the US for that week. Hyping is a new feature available in some countries to help small creators grow. And if you want to support me, you can hype this one too. Oh, and of course if you feel like it, subscribe for more content like this, because it really helps a lot. So, there are 3 main technical parts I had to take care of. The emulator, receiving data from YouTube and sending data to YouTube. The emulator is incredibly easy to set up, and the GitHub page has some simple code to get started with. You may think that the coding for this part of the project is also easy, as all I need to do is call some button presses. This can be done via single lines of code, and you could imagine something like, if YouTube comment contains A, then press A. But I kinda need this project to run for a while, potentially months, preferably without failure. And there are many things that could go wrong. The game could crash, maybe due to someone executing a bug, the surrounding program could crash, my PC could shut down, and other things can go wrong that I'm not even thinking about. The game may even be put into an unrecoverable state, for example if a save happens after we are stuck in a wall or so. So we can't just store the latest progress. As a precaution, I decided to store a save state every time the thumbnail changes, so every 15 minutes. This may sound like a lot, but every save is just 164 kilobytes in size. So over a year we'd have less than 6 gigabytes of data. And that allows me to very precisely jump to a non-broken state should I need to. Now that I knew how I would be running the game, I had to figure out how to receive comments from YouTube. The official API allows you to retrieve comments in batches of 100. Now, I don't know how many button presses are required to beat the game, but I'm guessing the commenters won't find the most efficient way to do so. So I need to deal with potentially tens of thousands of comments over time, and that means I can't just wing it with my implementation. The YouTube API is free to use, but you have a daily quota limit of 10,000. Each comment page costs 1 quota, but if there are many pages and I am making many requests a day, I'll have problems pretty quickly. So I decided on storing all comments locally in the database and only querying for comments until I'm hitting one that I saw already. This also makes it way easier to retrieve commands for the emulator, as I just need to query the database instead of talking to the API every time. So, to sum it up, I have a loop that's running 24/7 once every few minutes. In it, I tell the API to give me the latest comments until I hit one that's already in my database. At that point, I write all the new ones to the database and tell the thread to wait until the next iteration. And finally, we need to be able to set thumbnails. This can also be done via the official YouTube API, and I simply make the call in the program that controls the emulator. Every 15 minutes I store the save state, create the thumbnail and send it off to YouTube. You may ask how I am even creating the thumbnail, as it contains some current information about the game. Remember how I said it's possible to access live memory in PyBoy? Well, I can use that to retrieve data about the game I'm playing, including which Pokémon I have in my party, the contents of my bag and so on. And then it's fairly easy to craft a decent looking thumbnail from that. At this point I should mention that this part of the project gave me the most headaches. Originally I wanted to update the thumbnail every minute or so, but a single thumbnail change costs 50 API quota. And with 10k quota available per day, that makes one thumbnail change about every 8 minutes at max. Of course it would be less because I also have to spend quota on comment crawling. I asked the YouTube team to give me more daily quota, and to my surprise they actually did. After a bit of waiting, I received 50,000 daily quota, which allows me a thumbnail change about every 2 minutes. Which is great! Or so I thought. I love finding obscure error messages that most people will never see in their life, but this one broke my brain after a long day of programming. What do you mean, too many thumbnail changes? And just to be clear, this is not the error message when the quota is used up. It's literally an extra rule about how many thumbnail changes you can have in a given period of time. And of course, this isn't documented anywhere, so I had to spend a few days with different posting intervals to see where it breaks and for how long. The limit seems to be exactly 100 changes every 24 hours. So I had to update the code to post every 15 minutes, which over a day is 96 thumbnail changes. That leaves me with a bit of room in case I want to update the thumbnails for another video. So there you have it. Knowing all this, you can now start playing. If you're watching in the first few minutes, you may even get the chance to name the main character or the starter Pokémon. I'm super excited where this project is going and if we can actually beat the game like this. And since you watched until here, you probably like Pokémon. I'm running a tournament where you guys can vote on your favorite Pokémon Showdown April Fool's Day sprite, and some of them are absolutely hilarious. We're nearing the halfway mark of the first round and I'm planning a video for it, so if you want to be a part of that, cast your votes now. Oh yeah, and thank you for watching. See you in the next one!